Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Well, it's Monday and that means it's a new week for new videos, which I'm very excited to make. I hope you are as well. I've been getting tons of positive feedback on my videos recently, which has meant the world to me. It really does. I really appreciate all of the feedback that I've been getting. So if there's anything in particular you want to share, feel free to do so. I've been loving the feedback that I've been getting, and all of this support has meant a lot to me. So I'm excited for a new week of videos, and I had a very interesting reading weekend, which I can't wait to share. I'll do that in some upcoming videos, talking about some of the reading that I did over this weekend. It was definitely interesting. But today I wanted to talk about biographies. I have a lot of biographies on my shelves, some of which I've read, some of which I haven't, and I wanted to talk about those biographies today. Specifically, I wanted to talk about biographies that I haven't read yet. So that's one of the constraints. Another one of the constraints is they have to be big. So they have to be big. I can't have read them yet, and they have to be physically in my room on my shelves. So that would exclude biographies like Sylvia Plath's biography, the big one, the Red Comet one, because although I haven't read it and although it's very big, I don't own a copy of it. So if I did, it would be on this list, but I don't. So these are just ones that I have here. I need a name for my domicile, like Hyde Cottage or Driftwood Ranch or something like that. I'll have to figure out. I'll have to come up with something. But yes, so these are the biographies that I have on my TBR that are big and that I haven't read yet. So let's just jump it right in. The first one is, and these are in no particular order, by the way, just threw them on a big pile here. The first one on top is this biography of Soren Kierkegaard by Joachim Garf. This was put out by Princeton University Press, and it's a piece of translated scholarship, which is great. It was originally put out in Denmark and then translated over in English, so it's great that we have this, and a piece of translated scholarship that's put out by Princeton University Press that's this big. I mean, that's a ton of green flags that let me know that this is a biography worth reading if you're at all interested in Kierkegaard, which I am. But as I've mentioned before on this channel, I'm not a huge fan of philosophy. I did like Kierkegaard's Fear and Trembling when I read it in college, but as with Kierkegaard and most philosophers, really all of the ones that come to mind right now at least, I would be much more interested in their biography than I would be about their actual writing, because I would be much more interested in them as people, the world that they lived in, the culture that they lived in, what they were reacting to, what they were writing about in terms of the overall context of that. Would be much more interesting than most of their philosophical works, frankly. So we'll see about Kierkegaard. Maybe I'll be on fire to read Kierkegaard after I finish this biography. We'll see. But that's definitely on my list, and I'm very glad that I have a copy of it. The next is Thomas Cromwell's biography by Diarmaid MacCulloch. Tons and tons of reasons why I'm excited to read this. The first one is Diarmaid MacCulloch is like the foremost voice when it comes to Christianity, really just in general, but also Reformation, the Reformation specifically. He wrote a big volume on the Reformation. He's also written biographies of Thomas Cranmer, another important Reformation figure in England, and so he is really just the guy to write this book. So I'm very excited about that. Secondly, I'm excited to read this because I'm just a fan of the Reformation in general, fan of reading about the Reformation as a whole. Usually I've been reading about it in regards to Germany because that's really where it started and where it caught fire. But obviously Reformation England is fascinating, and Tudor England specifically has been the interest of many people over the centuries. So I am no different. I'm very much interested in Tudor England as well. And then finally, and really the most importantly, I really want to read Hilary Mantel's Wolf Hall trilogy. I really want to read it, but I will only be able to read it for the first time once. And so because of that, I can't I can't just jump into it without feeling like I have all of the background material that would make that her depiction of of Thomas Cromwell and just that world really sing for me. I want it to come alive by having as much material about the topic under my belt as possible. At least this biography, at least. And Hilary Mantel, I have the privilege of being able to read this first, which a lot of people didn't, because Hilary Mantel actually has this wonderful, wonderful quote on the front of the book where she says, "This is a book that," and it's not often you can say this, "we have been awaiting for 400 years." So I get the privilege of being able to read this before I read the Wolf Hall trilogy, and I really want to be able to do that. So this is very high on my TBR, and I'm very excited to read this before I get into that Wolf Hall trilogy. Okay, the next one is a Susan Sontag biography by Benjamin Moser. I've had a soft spot in my heart for Susan Sontag forever. I remember when I first got into reading, my cousin, who was much better read than me at the time, he sent me Susan Sontag's essay on photography, a very famous essay of hers, and he sent it to me because he knew I loved photography. So he sent it to me, and it was like, you have to read this, and I read it, and I was like, holy smokes, this is amazing. Who is Susan Sontag? I need to read more. And so ever since then, I've been reading her. I read her collection of essays against interpretation. This is the iconic version that features a photo of her on the cover, which is incredible. But this is, I have these essays just on recall. I love them so much, and I've read them many times, actually. I've been reading them for a long time. Her essay, she's got an essay in here, for example, called "The Anthropologist is Hero," which I thought was incredible. She's got this wonderful essay on the playwright Ionesco, who came out with a collection of his own essays, and she really kind of just like walked all over them. But she did so, and I thought at the time, when I was reading this as a freshman in college, I thought at the time a fascinating way, and I just loved reading it. And then she's got a great essay on Camus in here, and this collection ends with her Notes on Camp, I believe, or at least the one that I read originally did. Yes, Notes on Camp is in here. So that's another famous essay of hers. But yeah, so always been a fan of Susan Sontag. Really want to read a biography of her. And it's put out by Benjamin Moser, who I've been liking for a long time, too. He spearheaded a translation campaign of Clarice Lispector into English through New Directions Publishing, which led to like great volumes like this, which is a collection, this being like a collection of Clarice Lispector's short stories, which a lot of people had, and I thought was great. And then also he put out this collection of his essays on the Dutch masters, which is a beautiful, beautiful hardcover here that I absolutely love. So this is a lot of fun to read too. So Benjamin Moser is a great guy to write this biography, and I'm excited to get to read that. Next, we've got the Pessoa biography by Richard Zenith. This is a biography that we've been needing for a long time, that Pessoa definitely deserves a big, chunky biography in English, and I'm so glad that he has it, and I'm so excited to read this. If you don't know, Pessoa was an extremely interesting guy. He wrote under these different sort of dramatis personae. They're not really just like pseudonyms. He called them heteronyms. They're different personalities that he wrote under, that had their own lives and their own biographies of sorts. And this biography actually opens with like sort of an index of them, a whole index of his different personalities that he writes under, or that he wrote under. And then it includes like a brief description of who they are, which I thought was really cool. So I haven't read this, but I'm really glad that we have this, and it's a really exciting thing that this is available to us now. And I definitely want to give this a read. Next, we've got this biography of Augustine by Robin Lane Fox. Robin Lane Fox is a famous classicist who I have a lot of his work, the most recent of which, for me at least, is Homer and his Iliad, which I thought was great. So he's a great person to write a biography of Augustine, but also there are at least two other biographies of Augustine written by also prominent people. The one is Peter Brown, who is a famous historian in his own right. He sort of pioneered the study of what he called late antiquity, which is the period sort of following the end of antiquity and then the beginning of the Middle Ages. And it really is designed to chart the rise of Christianity, is really what it does. But he wrote a biography of Augustine, and then Hannah Arendt wrote a biography of Augustine, which I thought was really interesting. So I'd love to compare and contrast all three at some point. We'll start with this one because I saw it in my local user library and snagged a copy, so we'll see which one appears next, if any of them do. But I'm excited to read this because Augustine is one of the most important figures, really, in Western intellectual history. I mean, so much of Catholic theology comes from Augustine, and then obviously Catholicism has shaped so much of the world around us. So reading this is going to be something that I very much look forward to. And then I saved the biggest and baddest for last. This is the 3-volume biography of Kafka. 3 volumes on Kafka's short life here, but my goodness, am I excited to read these. These are translated from German. These are also put out by Princeton University Press, and like many an angsty teenager, I was a fan of Kafka even before I was really reading seriously, because Kafka was just cool, man, you know? I mean, Kafka, he had that existentialist angst to him that I really liked, and part of me wants to just make a big Kafka TBR, you know, like set aside like 2 months, throw these in a pile, along with all of Kafka's other works, all of his fiction, so all of his novels, whether I've read them or not, all of his short stories, and his journals, which I haven't yet read. There was a pretty recent translation that came out of them, and I had read snippets of it and loved it and was like, my God, I need to read these journals. They're so good. They might even be more interesting to me than his fiction, frankly. But part of me really wants to do that at some point. So maybe I will. I kind of missed a window because there was a big, Kafka moment recently. But regardless, I'm very excited about those. I'm happy to have all 3 volumes in these nice soft covers put out by Princeton. So that's my list. I hope that was interesting to you. I'd love to know biographies that you have on your list, if you have any. You're welcome to leave them in the comments, or you can reach out to me through email. I put my email in the description of every one of my videos precisely for that reason. So if you have anything that you want to reach out and email me about, feel free. I've been loving the emails that I've been getting recently. They've meant a lot to me. So, and if you have any suggestions, feel free to pop those down in the comments as well. I've been getting a lot of suggestions about what I should read next. And so if there's any biographies that you think I'd be interested in, or any biographies that you just want to share, feel free. It's part of the joys of BookTube, is being able to pass around recommendations like that. So that'll do it for me today. I'll see you all on Tuesday. And thank you, BookTube.